Canadian governments fail to stop money laundering because they want the cash. Douglas Todd, once it's in the system, dirty money behaves just like clean money, says law professor Sana Ahmed. Governments quietly rely on it to prop up the domestic economy. Where have we heard that before? I mean, right? I mean, it's basically what the CIA and them have all been doing forever down in the States. Why wouldn't it be happening here? An estimated 45 to 113 billion is laundered in Canada each year, according to Criminal Intelligence Service Canada. Politicians in Canada are mostly pretending they're desperate to crack down on money laundering, according to the stark, well-constructed argument of a University of Calgary law professor. Ahmed says the real reason federal and provincial governments have not made a significant dent in the laundering of dirty money is basically because they like the cash in the economy. Why did the BC government of a decade ago tolerate what became to be known as the Vancouver model of money laundering? She asked. After all, many people knew drug cash stuffed in hockey bags was being laundered by being used to gamble at BC casinos, with much of it ending up in mostly luxury Canadian real estate, she said. And why did it take American law enforcement officials, not those in Canada, last year to punish the white-collar criminals inside U.S. branches of the Canada-based TD Bank? They hammered the giant bank, which had a permissive reputation, with a $3 billion fine for aiding in massive laundering of drug money and other ill-gotten gains. The answer is the same, despite the posturing of politicians and the establishment of dozens of anti-money laundering agencies in Canada. Ahmed says politicians aren't keen to prosecute money laundering because they want the capital, which props up the economy. Once we put the moral outrage aside, this money is just money. The billions of illicit dollars that have poured into Canada help shore up the domestic economy, said Ahmed, who has trained as a lawyer and professor in both Pakistan and Canada. Dirty money, she says, buoys banks, the hospital sector, realtors, developers, art dealers, restaurants, and high-end retail outlets, and eventually makes its way into government tax coffers. The globe's massive laundering network can only be understood by asking the question, who stands to gain? Unfortunately, Ahmed argues it's not easy to differentiate the benefits of money laundering for private individuals and corporations from those that go to the state, where the revenue is used to pay for such things as healthcare and transit. Now let's jump off of that.
Well, is that the only reason why there's still cash in the system? I mean, and we're not all digital. I mean, it's interesting that they might need, that might be why there hasn't been a CBD push, because they need that cash. They need the dark money in the system.